If you have been growing a balloon business for any amount of time, you might be stuck in what our next guest calls the messy middle. Today, I am chatting with Andrea Libros, who's a business coach, and she is going to introduce us to big thinking. My name is Sarah Meyer. I am the host of the Bright Balloon podcast, where I help you make more money and eliminate stress, because this is a stressful business. So I was really excited to have someone on who doesn't own a balloon business, isn't super familiar with the balloon companies that we own, but she works with business owners in all different fields, and she knows what it's like to get in your own way, get stuck in that messy middle, and have big ideas, but no way to really get there. So I love this conversation. It wanders a little bit because I go off on a bunch of tangents, but Andrea has so many tips and techniques and strategies. I got really excited speaking with her because I could start to see a roadmap to my own big plans. So I hope the same happens for you in this week's episode. Let's dive right in. Welcome to this episode, Andrea. I'm so excited to have you on. A departure from our usual guests, and I'm thrilled because we're talking about big thinking, and I think that is something we as balloon artists like to think we're good at, but I don't know that we actually are. Before we started recording, I said we are a group of people who like to get in our own way. So give us an introduction. Who are you, and what are we going to be talking about?
Well, I think I'm in the right spot because what I do every day is I talk to mostly female, but sometimes some men, business owners on helping them think bigger about what's possible in their business and then making it happen, right? So we can do all the thinking in the world, but then how do we turn that into action? So I sometimes say, how do you turn your vision into action? And how do we stay aligned with what our vision was in the first place, right? So probably most of your listeners got into what they're doing now because they're like, this is kind of fun. I
Mhm.
mean, you're creative, and this is just kind of another creative outlet. You're probably quote unquote pretty good at it, right? So all right, let's turn this thing into a business. And I don't just work with balloon artists. I work with people across a bunch of different industries, but most of them are service-based businesses in a sense that they're some are brick and mortar, but a lot of them are kind of online, or they're going into people's homes. I work with interior designers. I work with stagers. I work with marketing agencies. I work with landscape architects. So, you know, you all love your craft, right? And probably no one went to school to learn how to run the business. So that's where I come in. And so I'm based out of Indianapolis, but I work with clients worldwide. Everything I do is virtual. So really doesn't matter where anyone is. And I've written a book called She Thinks Big: The Entrepreneurial Woman's Guide to Moving Past the Messy Middle. I also have a podcast by the same name. I've got about 250 episodes of She Thinks Big, the podcast. So I am really immersed in this world of big thinking and then turning it into action steps. So I think we're in the right place. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. And I would say I'm in the messy middle. I thought I was getting past it, and then actually nobody knows this yet, but my only employee quit this week.
Hey,
So,
that's
you know,
okay. Okay.
that's
So
where I'm
I
at.
think we should turn that into, how is that happening for you and not
I,
to
you
you?
know, I have tried to have a really positive mindset about it because, like, she was my first hire, so I did everything wrong, and there were no boundaries, and there were, every mistake I made, I can now hopefully
You learned.
not do that again.
There's no fails. It's either winning or learning.
Yes,
It's either
yes.
winning or learning, Sarah. So yeah, so the messy middle is a real thing. And I think one thing that you and probably a bunch of your listeners kind of latch onto is there's always a new version of the messy middle. Just when we think we're past it, we're not. And in my book, I have this it's called a figure, I don't know what it is, 9.0, but figure 9.0, where there's loops. I call them kind of loop-de-loops. And they symbolize stages of business growth, right? So each loop has each loop you get into it, you have a belief, like you believed that hiring this person was going to be amazing, right? She was going to probably reduce your workload. I don't know why we hired her, but let's pretend, right? And yeah, Then, okay, you got her up to speed. That takes time in and of itself and energy and resources. Yep. Okay. This is working. She's good. She's good. Then nope, she's gone. She's out. Right. So you're at that messy middle stage. And now you're kind of coming off of that thinking, all right, how can I turn this into something that might be happening for me? And then we go into the next loop-de-loop cycle. Right. So now you're like, I'm wiser and smarter. I'm going to hire someone better, different, or not make the same mistakes that I did, or maybe I need two people or whatever. So now then you're in that next phase. So business has bad news, good news is that businesses have multiple messy middles. It happens again and again, but the messy middle gets smaller relative to the size of the loop. So you
Interesting.
get better and better. Okay? So
Interesting.
there's some good news
Nice,
there.
nice. Well, let's talk about I don't even know what big thinking is. Like, just that, just
Okay,
like
let's talk about it. Let's talk
have
about it.
big goals. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. So
Okay.
wherever you want to go.
Okay, so I guess the first thing to think about is, big thinking. I like to say there's 5 tenets of big thinking, and I use the word trust as an acronym for these 5 tenets of big thinking. Now, we'll go through it, but big thinking comes from future you. Okay, so welcome. You're going to get to meet future you, your new best friend. So past you can be a teacher. People are like, let me give you sometimes when I'm on a consult call, they're like, here's the history. Here's where I'm coming from. Here's what's happened in the past. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. The past can be a teacher, but it is not a fortune teller. Okay, it does not. Sometimes I don't even care about the past. I'm like, you can tell me, but okay, that's just the past. Then you have present you. So today, present you is like, I just lost this person, right? So that's present you. And I have 5 big clients coming that I need to serve. Like there's 5 big events coming that I need to get balloons in the space for. Okay, so that's present you. Then we have future you. Future you is the you a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, who is feeling free. Okay, because I highly doubt any of your listeners got into their businesses, and you tell me about you, because they wanted to be like strapped to their computer or, waking up at 5 in the morning to do deliveries. I don't know.
Right.
Was that what you had envisioned? Did you envision that?
Yeah.
Is that
No,
your
I
idea?
mean, we all do it because it's fun. And then it's like, oh, this is the worst.
And then yes. Okay. Right. So future you is feeling free. Okay. Future you is making money and is profitable. Okay. So I'm going to add that word profitable in there. That's different than making money.
Mhm.
Future you it feels like they have some time freedom. And I don't, do you have kids?
I
You
do.
okay. How old are they? I'm like,
18 months and 5.
okay, okay, okay. 18 months and 5. Holy moly, right? So you are busy. Like you are physically, like this is physical demands, not just mental demands, right? So wouldn't it be awesome if you had some quote unquote free time that wasn't taken up by balloons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So freedom of money, freedom of time, freedom of people, meaning that you have the people on your team or you are hanging out with the friends that you want to be with,
Yeah.
not feeling like you have to be with whoever or you're
Yeah. Yeah.
like desperate for this person. And then there's freedom of energy. So is your energy going to the right places? Or the place or aligned with what you want, your vision of who you want to be in this stage of life.
Mm-hmm.
So future you has those freedoms. Future you is smiling. Future you is having fun. I mean, I don't know. It's not fun and games every day, right? So future you is having fun. So future you is a big thinker. Your big thinking comes from future you. You have to go check in with future you and ask them what you should be doing today. Okay. Because when you check in with future you and ask them what you should be doing today, it is probably a whole lot different than the to-do list that would come from that is a whole lot different than your to-do list that you have in front of you.
Yeah. True.
Right. So one of the things that I do with my clients, whenever I have a new client, one of the first things we do, it's required, is we do what I call an activator or a vision into action intensive. And we get down on paper all of this future you thinking. Okay. What's your vision of where you want to be in a year, 3 years, 10 years? What's your vision? Like, what does your focus want to be? I mean, do you want to be doing balloon artistry for big, huge conferences that are in the convention center in your town? Do you just want to be delivering balloon bouquets for a 16th birthday? Like, what do you want this to be?
Mhm.
Right? And is your energy and time and money going towards, let's say you're like, it would be so awesome instead of delivering 10 sweet 16 bouquets, I just did one huge conference at the convention center. Like, okay. I mean, I don't know. Is that something you ever thought about? Like
Yeah.
10 bouquets versus one big
Oh,
thing?
yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's like the little this is a tangent, but the little stuff, it's, like, easy and no brain power, but to get to those high numbers when you do the math, you're like, "I have to do so much of this," and then it's and then you come off a huge event and you're like, "Well, that sucked too." So I rather do
Yeah.
the little things.
Right, right. Well, that sucked because it
Pick your
probably had
poison.
higher expectations, right?
Mhm.
And it was a little more complicated because you were like, there were parts and pieces of it. It wasn't just dropping off a bouquet.
Right.
Okay. But I'm here to tell you, like, you could get good at doing those big things too, and it
Yeah.
would be easier. Okay. So, your marketing, for example, is going to be look a whole lot different if you're marketing for the Sweet 16 bouquet versus marketing for the convention
Yeah.
center, right? So that's what I mean is like your to-do list aligned with the vision you have.
And I mean, and we're not poo-pooing those little things because there are
No,
companies
I
where
mean
it's like
that because
they
your vision
are
might be
yeah,
that you're
like, it might be like, "Oh, actually, that would be awesome if all we did was deliveries every morning and I never
yes,
worked a weekend again." Like, sometimes I do
yes.
think, like, that's my retirement plan.
Yes, I mean, like, so this isn't a judgment thing, like, this is not a judgment thing,
Right.
and that's why I think it's really important to spend some time, like, thinking about what do you want,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And right now, you may be like, "Hey, Monday to Friday, if I can drop off 1 bouquet every morning, like, golden."
Yeah.
Okay? But you might think, "Okay, 5 years from now, I don't wanna be having to do something every day. I just wanna do something 1 weekend a month."
Yeah.
Okay? So it's right? There's no right or wrong to this, but this is important kind of thinking. This is big thinking.
Yeah.
It's
So
coming
you
from
just
that future you.
you said you start with your clients with this just to get it you just
Yeah.
do, like, a big brain dump on paper?
Well, it's a no, well, yes and no. So I do this exercise in what I call an intensive. So it's a 4-hour block of time. It's you, me, and sometimes 2 or 3 other people. I do it on Zoom. And I am there as like the guide or the Sherpa walking you through a process to kind of almost, I call it like extract this
Yeah.
thinking from
Well,
your
right, because
brain.
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, uh, I don't know that I'd get a lot out, if it's just me at a
Right.
Starbucks
So
being like,
my
"What do I
my
want?"
job, right, if I'm doing my job correctly, my job is to be an amazing question asker. Okay? My job is to be like, "Sarah, let's think about this. What do you yes, your kids now are 5 and 18 months, but let's try to go to the place where they're 10 and 5 or 10 and 6.5, right? What's that gonna look like?" And you're like, "Well, I'm not there yet." I'm like, "I know, but you have friends who have 10 and 6.5-year-olds. You can conjure up what it might look like,
Mhm.
okay? And what do you want things to look like then
Right, right.
when no one is in diapers and
Yeah,
everybody is getting on a school bus,
yeah.
right? Okay. So there's not even pull-ups. I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
What if what are we looking what is it gonna look like then?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is hard to you I will just say, I cannot do this for myself.
Mm,
Like, I have a coach that helps me do this, okay? This is so hard to do on your own. You just first of all, you get distracted. Second of all, you don't give yourself permission to
yeah,
really think like this.
yeah.
Because right now you might be like, "Well, I mean, this is sort of a this business I have is kinda like a jobby." I call it a jobby, okay? It's kinda like a hobby, but it is a job, so it's a jobby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I wanna go all in on it,
Yeah, I
right?
do think there probably are people listening that are like, "I don't know, in 5 years, I think I'm just gonna, like, go get a job." Like, this like, which
Right,
again,
right.
might be fine, but I do think it is hard to project
But what
So
if, okay,
5,
but what
10,
if in 5
15 years.
years you went and got a job? Like sometimes I say, wouldn't it just be easier being a barista at Starbucks? And
Yeah. Oh,
maybe it
yeah.
would
I
be.
compare that to all the time. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it would be. But what if you did go get a job, even if it was a barista? What if you could sell your business? What if
Right.
someone would pay you money for your list of past customers?
Right.
Like, huh? I mean, and maybe we're not talking like millions of dollars here, but hey, some money's better than no money.
Right. So just kind of reverse engineering that. I guess yeah, that's my next question. If
Yeah.
after you extract all this stuff, like what do you do with it? Is it goal setting? Are
Okay,
there
so
things you can do every day to kind of like stay in
yeah,
that zone
a
or like
hun
where
100%, 100%. So, right, so we extract this, we figure out, we kinda go a year, 3 years, 5 years. This is just visioning. This isn't like action steps yet.
Okay.
Then we get into what's your core focus of your business? Like, what are we focusing on here? Are we and I make you kinda really you could have 3 focuses, but at least we know with maybe it is bouquets and convention center and, I don't know, something in the middle, right?
So this is
But
like the
let's
core focus of like what your business
yes, the core
does.
focus of your
Okay.
business. What's your niche,
Gotcha.
right? Okay, then we talk about, like, who's your ideal client and what makes your balloon business different than the other guy? Like,
Hmm.
what are the 3 things that make you unique?
I think
Why does
that's so
someone
hard. I'm in a group chat right now where it's like it's so hard to define that because you do what they ask for. It's so hard to think about
right,
like, well,
you
no,
do
I
what
don't.
they ask for, but maybe, like, one of the things that makes you unique is you can always give them what they ask for, but what you're known for is you always give one alternative that they might have not have thought on their own.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, like, that could be something that makes you unique.
Yeah.
Something that makes you unique is that you partner with the florist,
Yeah.
okay? And so it's like a one-stop shop. And maybe you have 2 separate businesses, but you guys are you collaborate on a lot of things.
Yeah,
So it
nice.
makes it
Cool.
easier for the client, okay? Like, what makes you unique? So
Yeah.
these are all the elements. So there's core focus, 10-year, 5-year, there's marketing. We talk about values, but we don't want to talk about that now. That's all part of vision. Then we flip the script. Usually get a little glass of water, take a little break, but we come back and I say, "All right, now we're gonna turn this into action." Okay? And this is eh, this again is a place to infuse what is big thinking, which I still haven't told you, but let's go through this. So we take the vision, we turn it into action. Now, action, what I mean by that is what are our 3 to 7 priorities? We could call them goals, but goals usually stress people out.
Okay.
Let's get real. And sometimes people, I don't know, do you like writing goals?
I'm a weirdo, so I do, but I know most people don't.
All right, how often do you look at those goals?
Again, I am a freak. This is like
Okay.
one of my things that I harp on other people for, but I have mine hanging up. I am
Okay.
the
Okay.
oddball, but so
So
I'm a goal person.
we turn them into either goals or priorities, whatever word you like better.
Mhm.
And I we write smarter goals. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know. Have you ever heard of SMART goals?
Yeah.
All right, but we write smarter goals with an
Okay.
ER at the end. The ER at the end stands for exciting and risky.
Ooh, cool. Okay.
Okay. So the goal cannot be something that you think your goal it does not have to be um because I should.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It has to have some excitement. It has to push you a little beyond what you think is reasonable.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
Okay. In fact, reasonable is not even in the smarter, from my definition of smarter. The other R is relevant. Is it relevant, like to
Yeah.
where you are now in your business?
Right. Right.
So everybody's like,
Excuse
I
me.
want to make these realistic.
Yeah. Well, I always think of like sales goals. People they have these sales goals, and I would say those aren't even relevant because like, what are you making from that? Like, you don't know what you're
Well,
taking
you
home
have
from this big goal.
the sales goal, the revenue goal, okay, is not really a goal. It's just a statement. And then
Yeah.
we have to create goals to make that revenue goal happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how are we getting there? What are
Right.
the actions? Here comes the action part. What are the actions that we're taking to hit the revenue goal? So all those 3 to 7 really actions. So everything you do there I say has to start with a verb.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's to start with a verb and we formulate those.
Mhm.
Okay. And usually they should be around all aspects of your business. They shouldn't just be about like sales, okay? There should be something that has to do sort of with like human resources,
Mm.
like the hiring, okay? There should be something that has to do with back end operations. There should be some marketing one. People tend to focus on marketing because marketing leads to sales. But
Yeah.
yeah, there should be marketing, but that's not all that it takes to run a business.
Right, right.
Okay. There's so many other facets of business. If we think about like a big corporate entity, I mean, there's a chief marketing officer, but there's also a chief financial officer, and there's a chief
Mhm.
head of operations. There's a information technology person to CIT. Okay. So we kind of think about all of those facets of your business,
Yeah.
which again, your brain isn't doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we figure out what are the 3 to 7 things we want to focus on this year to reach that revenue goal, for example. Then we break it down and we turn it into quarterly rocks. I call them rocks. So if you picture um a jar that has rocks in it, like a vase, and you have rocks filling the bottom. There's sand around the rocks,
Yeah.
right? So we have rocks and then we get to sand. So rocks are things that what am I going to be doing? What are my actions in the next 90 days?
Mm.
And then we break each of those rocks into 10 pieces of sand. And people
Wow.
are like,
Dang,
"Oh
I
my
love this.
God."
I love this. You are like, I love this.
Okay. Like, this is torture. This is like so much thinking. I mean, can't I just put the colors together and it looks really pretty and we call it a day?
No,
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Okay. So this is the stuff that's like easy to do and easy not to do. And I'm just going to say no one does it on their own.
Yeah.
No one does it on their own.
Right.
So so this exercise that we're going through over this 4-hour block of time, that's why I
This
call it
is
an
all in
intense.
that one session?
I
Like,
want you to walk away with something that you can act on.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're there for a bit. Like, you're going to be tired at the end,
Yeah.
but you are
Absolutely.
walking away with something super duper tangible. Like, sometimes people say, like, they get on their corporate brain. What are the deliverables? The deliverables are I call it a vision into action organizer.
Hmm.
Okay. Then what happens is after that, you're like, great, Andrea. Now you're going to go back and do whatever. And I'm going wherever. And I'm going to stare at this on Monday morning and think, where do I even start?
Right.
So I give people what I call 2 weeks access to me via Voxer. Voxer is like a
Yeah.
at walkie-talkie sort of app,
Mhm.
whatever. So we go back and forth and we refine this and we talk through it. Like, how are you going to implement it? And then we come back together again as a group, as that teeny group of 2 or 3 people, 2 weeks later to kind of, I'll call it like wrap it up and put a pretty bow on it. Right. And then at that point, sometimes a lot of people decide, hey, I want to continue working with you. So we, they become part of one of my coaching, I call them coaching containers, depending on where they're at in their business. And then, we have a longer term coaching relationship. But that's how we turn that vision into action.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever done anything like that?
I mean, not to that degree. I love the idea of the rocks and the sand and I'm such a like visual. I love an acronym. You're speaking my
Mhm.
language. I love all of it. But I mean, I think what is actually hard for me, again, I'm a weirdo and I love the goal setting and I do look back at them um but I think coming up with like the ideas, like you said, the big thinking, that
Yeah.
is where I struggle, where it's just like, I don't know, everything's kind of working and like maybe it'll just like
Work
keep
itself out.
working. Yeah, and
Right.
you're like, it'll
Right.
just grow and, like, whatever. Like, I can't say I've really grown my business super intentionally. I mean, the
Okay.
most
All right.
intentional thing I
So
did was, like, move to another location with a bigger shop, but in terms of that, like, reverse engineering, yeah, that's hard for me.
All right, so we do some reverse engineering, and let's go to that acronym with those 5 things, okay? You said coming up with this on your own, these ideas. This is where this is where I think I sort of shine and help. All right, so trust, 5 letters. It's like Wordle. Okay, first letter T, or first letter in trust is T. So T stands for thought options. Okay, here's what I mean by that. All big thinkers that I know, and I want everybody to kind of imagine in their head, like, who's someone you think, oh, they're a big thinker, like they're always coming up with new ideas. And it could be someone in the press, or it could be someone that lives next door. Okay.
Mhm.
Doesn't, no judgment here. All big thinkers are people that can come up with thought options. And here's what I mean by a thought option. So you revealed at the beginning that your one hire is now quit or is no longer. Okay. All right. I am sure you had a lot of thoughts about that, or have had a lot of thoughts about that, or continuing to have a lot of thoughts about that. The first thought could have been like, oh shit, now what do I do?
Right.
Okay. That could have easily been a thought. Um, you could also think, you know what? She quit or she's no longer, and that's okay because I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. You could think this is perfect. Her job really should be split into two. You could think, you know what? This is a good time for me to pivot. You could think, what do I really, really need? Was I hiring someone to help reduce workload, or was I hiring someone to help increase revenue? And then probably when you hired her, that wasn't even like in your brain. You're just like, I need help, right? But now
Yeah.
maybe this is a pause to think, do I want someone to help to grow, increase revenue or reduce workload? Or we can go into detail on that. So thought options are um, giving yourself the opportunity to consider what's possible. So like today in my house, I live outside of Indianapolis. I don't know. Where are you? I didn't even ask you that. Where
I'm
are
in
you?
Wisconsin.
Okay, perfect. It's
Yeah,
probably
not
the
far.
same. All right. So it's only, maybe low 70s today here. Okay? And I feel like it has been 97 for like 3 months. So, I have thought options about how I could think about this 72 degrees. I can think, "Ah, fall is coming, beautiful temperature." I can think, "Oh, this is so sad, summer's coming to a close." I can think, "This is perfect temperature to be outside. What am I doing inside recording a podcast?"
Hmm.
Okay? So, you've got options. That's what thought options mean. And as a business owner, it is very hard to get out of our own way and think about these options.
Mhm.
So hard. Okay. R stands for real problem. The R in trust stands for a real problem. There usually isn't really a problem. Like you kind of said, nothing's broken in my business.
Yeah.
Okay. The only problem is how you feel. Like you don't want to feel right now a little bit desperate, maybe like, what am I going to do? Because now I need help. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel stagnant in your business. You don't want to feel like, and I'm going to put some words in, oh, this is just a little hobby. Like, how's it going over there, Sarah, with your balloon business?
Right.
Okay. You're like, listen, people, this is real. This is not just like a little thing I'm doing. Like, I am putting effort into this. So, keep your thoughts to yourself. Okay. Right. So, the real problem, usually 99% of the time, is not really a problem. We don't have a problem. We just have a feeling that we don't want. And big thinkers recognize that. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Because everything we do or don't do is because we want to feel a certain way or not feel a certain way. That's like us. Write that down if you didn't. Never heard that before. Okay. So everything you do or don't do is because you want to feel a certain way or not feel a certain way. Okay. Which brings me to U in trust. U stands for uncertainty or unknown, embracing uncertainty and
Ooh.
unknown.
That's where I am like that's my Achilles
Okay.
heel. It's just the
Okay.
unknown and the uncertainty. I'm always just like, "Ah."
Right. So this is like, I love this. I love helping people coach. Like, I kind of call myself like a Sherpa or a guide. Like, I'm your Sherpa or your guide, getting you through the uncertainty. Like, you're trying to climb the mountain and there's 20 different trails we could take and you can't decide which one. So finally we decide. And then we're going up and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a log across the trail. Should I go back or should I jump over it? I don't know. Okay. Or it looks like there's a dark cloud coming. It's going to rain. Should we keep going or should we turn back? Okay. But when you have a Sherpa or a guide next to you, I'm like, all right, Sarah, we're just going to put on our raincoats and we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Embracing the unknown. So if you're someone that says, oh my gosh, sounds good, but I'm going to think about it. I mean, I think I'm in. I think I'm in, but I'm going to think about it. Right. We've all done this. You are not embracing the unknown. What are you thinking about? I always say, like, can I have permission to ask you, what are you thinking about? And no one has a good answer.
Mm.
They're like, well, I don't know. Can I afford it? You know right now whether you can afford it or not. And we're not going to know any more information tomorrow. Oh, right. Your brain is just trying to like grapple with the uncertainty of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah? Does
Yeah.
this sound
Yeah.
like okay, all right. So that's what U is. The S in trust. The S in trust stands for securing support. Okay? And here's what I mean by this. Being a business owner is a lonely road. Okay? Being an entrepreneur is it's a lonely trail. Okay? And I don't know any big thinker out there who is doing it or going it alone. They all have support, and that can look like tons of things, okay? It can be literally like you have a team of people that are creating things with you. It can be you hired a bookkeeper, that's support, okay? But the kind of support I'm a big proponent of is supporting your thinking or helping you stay in a mindset that feels right to you.
Mhm.
Okay. So sometimes when I ask that question, I was like, who is anyone playing that role? Oh, my partner. Oh, my spouse. My sister. Oh, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Like their job is not to listen to the trials and tribulations of your balloon business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Not good for a marriage. Not good for a friendship. Not good. Let them stay in their lane of their job is to love you, not to listen to you vent.
Yeah.
Okay. So let them love you. And then you need support to help you work through some of these other things in your business.
And does that okay, so I have a question. I talk to a group of girls every single day, and they all have their own balloon business.
Mhm.
Or there's paid groups you can be part of, there's
Right.
mastermind groups, there's a
Yep.
is that support in a good way, or, like, can we continue to get in our own way when you're talking to other people who have your same problems? I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes,
So
like,
I've
we're all in the same situation, and it's like that's why I was so excited to talk to you
okay. This
because
is a great question.
you're like, "I don't care about all the specifics. Here's what
Ri
works for every business."
right. Well, that's true. Like, here's what works for every business, whether it's balloons or who knows,
Yeah.
okay? So, I mean, I am all about that. That's why I coach people across a variety of industries.
Mhm.
So, I think when you're on a group chat with a bunch of people who also own balloon businesses, there's a lot of jumping in the pool together, okay? So, this is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
"Oh my gosh, you're so right." And so they can commiserate with you,
yeah.
okay? So, I think there's a place for that,
Mhm.
okay? But I don't think that is helping you move forward. Even if, like, someone has a great idea or it worked for someone else, like, you need space. You need to be in a container where you can think through the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? So, that is also why I think it's so helpful to be in a support container where it is across a variety of industries. Not everybody is a balloon artist,
Yeah.
okay? I think there's merit in being in a group like that because they might give you like being in there, you might have more creative ideas. Okay. But the trials and tribulations of business growth and scaling, we don't need to be in a mastermind of only balloon artists for that. Okay. So a lot of people come to me like they've been in that, like, interior designers have been in an interior design only mastermind.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right,
Right? But they're ready to kind of be in a place where there's different businesses in there.
right,
So,
right.
right? And actually
Well, I
it
think there's a lot
provides
to
you
gain
also
from that. I
there's a
mean,
ton to gain from that.
yeah.
So, securing support could look like a lot of things, okay? I think if you're in a situation where everybody's sort of jumping in the pool with you, you need an additional type of support.
Okay,
If
cool.
you're in an industry only with no other you're only in an industry only thing, I think you also need an additional type of support,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
okay? Does that answer
Yeah,
your question?
absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, so S is secure support. So it's not your spouse, and it's probably not a bunch of other balloon artists on a group chat, okay? Um, T, the last T in trust stands for take action. Okay, now, if you're in a place where you feel like your business is just, like, inching ahead, sorry, and you're only growing by, like, little teeny increments,
Mhm.
and you're not leaping forward and remember, growth doesn't have to mean more money, okay? It could be, but it could be more freedom.
Yeah.
Like, you have outsourced everything, and now you don't even you're just, like, I don't know, you're in the back office.
Yeah.
Or you're doing the part you love, which is delivering things. Okay? So just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be more money. It could be more freedom of any time, money, energy, or people. So when I hear people are like, I don't know, I'm kind of stagnant, I'm not sure, you're probably just taking passive actions. So
Mm,
what does that mean?
yeah.
Passive action means listening to podcasts. Now, I love podcasts, obviously. You do too. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I think you should be listening, but it's passive action. You are not clicking on the link in the show notes to download the whatever or to set up the call to
Yeah.
do the vision to action intensive, for example, right? You're just like, I don't know, that was great info. Now I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay. You are reading books. I clearly like books. I wrote one. Okay. But are you actually doing the work that's associated with whatever was suggested in the book if you're reading some business book? Okay. Um, you are like gathering opinions. Gathering opinions is passive action. Okay.
Yeah.
Gathering opinions is like almost sometimes can bog you down because then you don't know what to do.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of balloon people too, it's like, it's also well, I don't know. Do you know Denise Duffield Thomas?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so one of
Yeah.
her
She's
phrases
got
I love
great
is like
books.
procrastinating, and I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of times too, it's like we think we're growing because 'cause we're just, like, working on our website all the time or,
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
trying to update our logo for the 50th time, but it's,
Yes.
like, not
Yeah.
actually doing anything.
That is all passive action. You know how
Yeah,
many new
yeah,
people come to me and they're like, I mean, I really want to work with you, but I think first I need to get that logo and website up.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I 100% agree. You need a website and a logo. And, or more importantly, what are you thinking about this business? Like, are you on a thinking track that's, once the website's up, now what?
yeah. Right,
Right?
exactly.
It's not like you're just going to snap your fingers and people are going to appear out of thin air, new clients. Right? So, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Procrastinating, procrastibrand. What did you call it?
She calls it
Procrastinating?
procrastinating. Like,
Yeah,
you're spending
procrastinate.
all this time just making yourself
Yeah,
look better, but you're, like, not
yeah,
actually doing anything in your
right.
business.
Or like, I'm increasing my followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
Okay, sure. I mean, I want to increase my followers on Instagram either, but I really can tell you the biggest business growth is not going to come from increasing your followers on Instagram.
yeah,
Right? So that is all passive action. Are you taking massive action?
yeah.
All right. So the first T is in trust is thought options. R is the real problem. Good news, it's usually just a feeling. U is embracing the unknown or uncertainty. S is securing support, and T is taking action. All big thinkers, people that are turning that vision into action and making
Mhm.
things happen, they're embracing those 5 principles.
Interesting, cool. I love all this, and this is your in your intensive, but then when you said, it's Monday morning, and you've just done this, and you're like, "Okay, but I'm just gonna, like, open my email and back
Right.
to
I'm going
business."
to go back to
How
the
do you stay in this zone like this? I again, somewhere else I heard it was, like, glowing. They talked about women, they're like, "Yeah, I'm, like, feeling it. I'm, like, doing these things. I'm, like, glowing about my business," and then all of a sudden, it's like you lose it, and all of a sudden the flame's out, and you're like,
yeah.
"Ugh, I forgot
Right.
everything."
So, okay. So I think staying in it on your own, challenging. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. It's super
Yeah.
challenging. Right. So I think every business owner should be inside some type of coaching container, first of all, because you do need that sounding, not just a sounding board, but you need someone to help you make decisions.
Yeah.
So that's different. Which is why when people work with me on an ongoing basis, it's a year-long commitment. Okay. But what you can do is you want to kind of think about, how do I keep the momentum going?
Yeah.
All right. So it's not about productivity. I mean, it is, but it's more than that. It's not about focus. It is, but it's more than that. It's really about momentum and flow. How do you keep yourself in flow? And one really quick tidbit I can share with you is you need to have what I call a daily big 3.
Okay.
Okay. You need to have a daily big 3. What are your 3 most important things that you need to get done? Well, first of all, your weekly big 3 this week. And then what are the 3 things for each day? And you need to wake up de- deciding what those are. They're things that you have to have probably some resistance to. Okay. So it's not just go to the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
go to the meeting and ask this question.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you're already going to the meeting, you're not blowing off the meeting. I mean, I already know that. Like you're honoring what's on your right, but are you going to ask the hard question? Right. So it's not brush your teeth. I hope you're already brushing your teeth, but it might be like it's something that you have resistance to.
Yeah.
The three things should be things you have resistance to. And then the other thing that you can do to stay kind of to keep this momentum going is have a to believe list, kind of like I talked about that future you in the beginning, the hour, top of the hour. Future you has a to believe list, and that to believe list is really like your new to-do list. So if you're looking at your to-do list, does it align with what you really believe might be possible, or are you getting stuck in the weeds?
Huh. I love it.
And inside my coaching containers, I provide I have some coaches on my team who provide that type of specific coaching for
Yeah.
each of
Yeah.
my clients, right? I mean, I do the vast majority, but then I have sort of specialty people. So, because this is hard. This is a
Yeah.
skill to stay in flow, especially when you have a 5 and an 18-month-old. I mean,
Yeah.
5-year-old,
Right. Exactly.
it's like life happens, right? So, anyway,
I love it.
those are my 2 little tidbits.
No, I love it. Let's end with one final question. I'm going to throw one at you. Um, what's the worst piece of business advice you've ever been given?
That's the worst piece of business advice that I've ever been given. Oh, this is a good one. I don't, well, I'll tell you one of my favorite quotes is being an entrepreneur is really a journey in personal development disguised as an entrepreneurial adventure. So I will say that your business is only going to grow it's only going to grow at a rate that aligns with how you're growing as a human. So if you don't focus on you and your own thinking and who you are as a person and what you're um, focusing on getting better at declaring what you really want, then things aren't going to happen. So, what you really want is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And being able to distinguish what you want versus what the business really needs. And those are two different things. So you are not your business. I guess that would be the thing. If someone says to you, you are your business, I would 100% disagree. You are you. You are the CEO of your business, but your business is another entity. And you have to be able to separate what the business needs from what you want and be able to separate, but then mesh them together.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I have loved this. Where can people find you? Obviously, we will link to you in the show notes, but if
Yes.
they just want to see everything, where Instagram, your website,
Yep.
where should we send people?
So, I think the easiest place to go is Andrea's with an S, links with an S, andreaslinks.com. And on
Oh,
there,
that's a
you are
good one
gonna,
that you snagged.
you like that?
Yeah.
andreaslinks.com. You're gonna find a link to my Instagram. I do hang out on Instagram a lot and somewhat LinkedIn. I'm trying to get better on that one, but Instagram. You're also gonna find a link to the Silent Saboteur quiz. So I would encourage
Ooh.
everybody to go take this quiz. So I call it the silent saboteur because like what's really sabotaging your business?
I love it.
Okay,
Cool.
so it's kind of like more of a diagnostic little 2-minute audit. Like
Yeah.
it kind of diagnoses what this saboteur is for you in individually. So andreaslinks.com, you can take the quiz from there. You can get to my Instagram. You can get to the She Thinks Big podcast. You can get to the book. And there's also a link on there to book a call. So, I'm always available for consult calls. And I think on this call, like, whether or not you decide to work with me in some way, that's neither here nor there. You're going to walk away with some valuable info. Like I think the call in and of itself is worth money. They're free, but they're worth money because I'm going to hopefully help you kind of see what's really happening and identify how things might change for the better.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. This has been wonderful. Oh, excuse me. And everyone knows where to find her. Thank you so much, Andrea, for taking the time and helping us think bigger than I think a lot of us already are. And my
Yeah.
head's spinning in a good way, but I've appreciated it so much.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.